Don't ever eat Taco Bell again. MMA fans, Palmer Silver 101, UFC 144, biggest fucking kick-ass card of the year thus far. If you didn't see it, you can probably just like live stream it somewhere. My favorite place to go to check. They usually get taken off like a couple days. It's a popular site. It's called MMAcore.com. And like the day after or 2 days after, they always have like all the fights listed. And if they find like a broken link, it'll just say at the bottom it's a broken link. Anyway, jump right into it. In my last video, I made my predictions for UFC Japan, and I was right about every single fight. I called the winner of every fight except for one. Rampage got rampaged by Bader, the guy that Tito beat. Anyway, Benson Henderson shines, Rampage demolish, Hunt, Akiyama, and Shields impressed everybody. Tim Boach, comeback of the year. Definitely. Comeback of 2012 anyway. I think the best comeback I've ever seen was the Pete Sell versus Scott Smith. That was the best comeback. Best comeback ever. Well, your basic fan probably wouldn't know that. It happened a long time ago. I think it happened at Ultimate Fighter season finale, but anyways, jump right into it. We do have in the UFC a new lightweight champion, Benson Bendo Henderson, and I called this. I said, if you have any ducats, lay them down on Benson Henderson because I got a good feeling about this. Ooh, I got a good feeling. And it was a controversial, it was a really controversial decision on the judges. Some judges gave him 4 rounds to 1 against Frankie Edgar. I think they were basing it on damage because that was fucked up, man. I thought the 3rd round they're going to stop that fight. I really thought that fight was going to get stopped before, and they were just going to call it TKO. And then there really would have been controversy because they'd been like, well, this he fucking didn't beat him, he cut him, and kind of like the Diaz-Nunes thing, and I didn't want that to happen. It did go the whole 5 rounds, and it was fucking action-packed. The whole 5 rounds was fucking action-packed. It was non-stop. It was either second, I think it was a second round, where Frankie got a takedown and on Ben. And ate a fucking brutal up kick, man. It busted his fucking nose up, and buckled his knees. Unfortunately for Henderson, there was probably about 10 seconds left in the round, so he pounced on him and tried to finish him off with some quick ground and pound. And Edgar, with his incredible heart, fought his heart out. I mean, I was clapping, screaming. I almost had a goddamn heart attack watching this fucking fight. And he got to his corner and answered the bell for the next round. So we did go all 5 rounds. The scores were, to me, way off. I would never be able to score a fight like that. I scored Diaz Condit easily, very, very easily, and it wasn't even a challenge for me. I actually had my 4-year-old son watch that fight and say who won that time, and he scored it using the check mark system. Well, he won, and he thinks Nick Diaz won, and he's 4. He knows what rounds are, and yeah, who won that? Who won that time? Well, who won that time? That time, and he gave Nick Diaz 3 rounds. So if a 4-year-old can do it, Cecil Peoples can cheat. Anyway, Rampage got rampaged. I'm really sincerely disappointed in him. I knew he wasn't on weight when he was walking up. Just walking up to the scales, he looked like shit. He looked like a fat slob piece of shit. I'm like, man. And in my video before, I think I said Bader's he's going to die in Japan. He fought really hard to get on that card. He did. He fought really hard to get on the card. He's Pride veteran. He came out to the Pride music. I gotta give him props for that. I love the Pride entrance theme song, and he did do a power bomb in, I think, the 1st round, and Ryan Bader landed so awkwardly on his right arm. It was almost like he landed in a Kimura, and then but from that slam he was able to reverse Rampage and just induce some ground and pound out I believe it was 30-27 unanimous decision against Quentin Rampage Jackson. And overweight Quentin Rampage Jackson came in at 211. So I wonder what he weighed fight day. You know, he was probably a heavy boy. I saw him when they were clinching against the fence, and I remember he used to make fun of Chuck Liddell and say he had a muffin top. Well, he had the biggest muffin top. It looked like James Toney in there. It did. It did. It really did. It looked like James Toney in there. He didn't fight up to his full potential. He didn't train to his full potential. I think he took Ryan Bader lightly. Bader says it publicly. I think he took me lightly, and he lost the fight. You know, and putting that's so huge. That's huge for Bader. Huge for Ryan Bader coming off losses. I think two losses. John Jones and someone else. That has nothing to do with this. Mark Hunt does it again. K1 veteran knocks him out. Czech Congo next knocks out Czech Congo. I said in my video, if it stays in the first round, then I think Mark Hunt can take this fight and knocked out Czech Congo and stopped that short little winning streak he had going there for a while. That was an awesome fight. But by far, in my opinion, the best fight of the night that I saw anyway. I think I did miss a couple. I missed the Palashetsky Hietsu fight, and I just thought that he's actually ranked number 2 featherweight in the world, right under Jose Aldo. I don't know. I don't know about that, but hey, man, I mean, I don't know everything, you know. I have my opinions, and you have yours, and Bleacher Report has theirs, and MMA Mania has theirs. So I don't believe him to be number 2. Do you? I don't know. But anyway, fight night for me was Shields and Akiyama. Akiyama's throws were. Well, I mean, no. Fight of the night's got to be Ben Henderson and Frankie Edgar. There's no doubt about that. Never mind. I was just impressed with both these guys. Here's what I wasn't impressed with: Shields stand-up. Shields stand-up looks like Hoist Gracie's did it in UFC 1. He was doing this thing, like a robot, and he looked really tentative, like he was afraid to get hit by Akiyama. I would be afraid to get hit by Akiyama too, but. I mean, this is MMA. You have to learn how to strike. And it surprises me because he comes from such a great camp. He comes from the Cesar Gracie camp. He trains with the Diaz brothers. I mean, and look at their striking. They have the best boxing in mixed martial arts. They have the best boxing in mixed martial arts. They mix up their boxing so well with that pit pass style. Just pit or shatter style. They rip shots to the fucking body and take everything out of you, and just they suck you into their game with they're amongst the most elite fighters in the world, strikers in the world, I mean. And not so much Muay Thai, not so much Muay Thai. Nick took a lot of leg kicks in the Carlos Condit fight, but I could see that Carlos was actually hitting him with his foot, not his shin. That's why Nick said he wasn't checking him, because it didn't fucking hurt and it didn't matter. He actually had to bitch slap him. I'm going to say it again. I think I said it in another video. He had to bitch slap him. He had to literally bitch slap him and tell him to stop fucking running from him. And that just made that, for some reason, when he said stop fucking running, it made Condit run some more. So he ran some more. And I'm still pissed about it, man. I'm still pissed. UFC 144. I'm sorry, I keep getting off track. I had a really good day today. It's a good day. I got some good news. So, Boach, Tim Boach. I'm a Pennsylvanian. He's a Pennsylvanian. Comeback of the year. It looked like Okami was on his way to a clear-cut either TKO or at least a 30-27, guaranteed 30-27 judge's decision. And you could hear the corner of Tim Boach tell him that he needs this round and to just let his fucking shit go. And that he did. I mean, the former challenger that challenged Anderson's title down in Rio the last time they were down there. He was hit with some heavy leather against the fence, non-stop uppercuts. The fight should have been stopped. I think it was stopped a little bit too late. I mean, I've never seen Okami get beat down like that. Not even Anderson. I think he beat him down worse than Silva did. And he was getting battered for the first 2 rounds. Battered. I actually thought that was a mismatch. I thought that there's no way. He just challenged Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva's a fucking ninja, and he got in there with that guy. And his next guy is Tim Boetsch, and I mean, this is why I love the sport. Anything can happen. Anything can happen at any time. I fucking love it. But let's get to let's get to this. In your opinion, who did win that fight? Did Frankie get robbed, or did Benson Henderson do enough to take the belt from the champ? I feel like he did. I was trying to be severely, because I'm a biased guy. I was not biased. I mean, these 2 names don't. I like them both. I respect the hell out of both of these guys. But I was pulling slightly for Ben to win the strap, and like I said, I called it in my video. Just if you have some money, lay it down. I have a feeling. So yeah, they gave 2 judges gave him 4-1, and 1 judge gave it 3-2, all in favor of Ben Henderson. So he is the new 155-pound champion, and Edgar needs to drop to 45. I think that him and Aldo would make for an incredible display. I can't even imagine what game plan either one of them would come up with for each other. But it would just be fantastic to see those 2 put together. Can't wait to see Miesha Tate and Ronda Rousey on the 3rd. That's going to be incredible. Showtime, Strikeforce. I'm very disappointed in Rampage. Another thing, Anthony Pettis came out, and he was fighting Joe Lazon. Joe Lazon came out aggressive, and Pettis kind of felt his range early and just let loose with one of the most lethal left head kicks that I've seen in a while. And it was I had him also picked. Well, actually, I said I was undecided, but really I thought it was going to be Pettis. And now they're talking about a title shot for Pettis, and I mean, because he was the last guy in the WEC, of course, with that fucking awesome kick he did, pretty much sealed the deal for him to outlast Ben Henderson in the last WEC lightweight title fight. He beat him with that super kick, and they want to see a rematch between Edgar and Ben, and they want to see a rematch between Pettis and Ben. So what do you do? I think I wouldn't mind seeing Edgar and Henderson do it again. I think Pettis needs to get up there like one more fight. Give him one more fight, see what happens. Give him a tough guy. Give him he's a good 50-pounder. If you have any suggestions about who, I mean, if you agree with me that they should give Pettis, I think that Pettis needs one more fight before he goes for a title. Who would be the best opponent? Question of the day: best opponent for Anthony Pettis if he has to fight one more fight to get to the title? Who would it be? Who's a good matchup for Pettis? Off the top, I can't think of anything. I'll post something, along the way, or I'll edit it in later, something like that. Mitsugaki, I picked Mitsugaki to win, and he didn't win by judges' scorecards. He didn't win at all, says the judges. But he was awarded his win bonus by Dana White because that judging was fucking terrible. He won that fight. It was clear as day. It was just as clear as the Diaz Condit fight. It was just as clear as Nam Fan, Lenin Garcia. Got to do something about these fucking judges, man. I think 2 judges gave Condit that fight too. I told you, man. That shit irks me. It kicks me up, and I don't like that. But really would make a difference. Diaz would have got his title stripped anyway. But it really does irk me. But UFC. Oh yeah. What about Tim Boetsch? Was that a better comeback than Todd Duffy and was that Mike Russo? I think that was the best. That was the best ever. I think. Not the best ever. I already said the best ever was Scott Smith and Pete Sell, and then. Number 2, Todd Duffy, and I'm going to put Boetsch at number 3. Mitsugaki was robbed. And coming up next is my favorite fighter out right now, and his name is John Jones. He's fighting in Atlanta at UFC 145. Finally, he'll get to get in there and throw leather with Rashad Evans and hopefully knock him out. I don't like Rashad. I like Rashad on the show because I don't know. He was on the show, and I didn't like him on the show. His showboating was fucking terrible. It was just, he's an annoying cat, man. He was an annoying cat, period. But I did like the way he coached. Rampage, his team just got destroyed. They got picked apart. He was a Jackson fighter. He did move camps because of this fight, and he's been training with the Black Zillas. And I believe they're in Florida. I think. Don't quote me on that. But he's been training with the Black Zillas, and he looked fantastic in his last fight. So, yeah, let's see this thing happen. I really, really want to see this happen. And I'll be back later on with more predictions for UFC 145 Atlanta. Do not miss it on pay-per-view. Don't know when it is. I'll find out. Actually, I'll tell you now. Oh yeah, it was Chris Carrazzo or whatever that got the victory over Mitsugaki. That really pissed me off. That wasn't it wasn't even right. It wasn't fair, and it just made me sick, you know. UFC 145 is Jones and Jones versus Sugar Rashad Evans. And I see Jones winning this again. I don't, as of right now, like I said, I don't see anybody stopping John Jones. I just don't see anybody stopping John Jones. I mean, they've trained together in the past. The friendship's over. But they haven't trained together in a very fucking long time, okay? And they both look like different fighters. I'm sure they're completely different here, and I mean, just all around, you know? And Jones sticking with the Jackson camp. I'm sure he has an excellent game plan going into this. Also on the card is Rory McDonald comes back. We have Brendan Schnaub versus Ben Rothwell. And Bocek and Wyman. And the return of Miguel Torres on that card too. Matt Immortal Brown also, and Mac Danzig versus Efren Escudero. That's interesting. So I mean, it's a decent card. It's a decent card. It's definitely worth paying for, especially the main event. And I'll be back later on with my predictions for UFC 145. Hopefully I'm as lucky as I was this time because I nailed them all except for Rampage. You let me down, Rampage. You let me down. Don't hate on Joe Rogan. Hate on me. I can't believe it. Can't believe it. But thank you all for watching Paul Versilva Nation, MMA all day. I love you all. Thank you very much for the view.